Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a 40k wish list video. I was not going to do this, quite frankly, because I was like, yeah, we know it's just going to be points. What's the point of talking about points? Um, but then I saw a Happy Crumpin' Wargaming's video that was a very good point. We always think that we know what GW is going to do, or we claim to know, and then they do something different, sometimes despite what they said they were going to do. So you might as well pretty much talk about it. I'm like, fuck it, you got a great point. So I'm going to talk about things I want to see. And I'll give another disclaimer that this I'm the person in favor of buffing things that don't work or could need help versus nerfing things that we know work. Quite personally, I don't across most game systems care about things getting nerfed or banned for the sake of balance because that just means that there's not enough things that can rock paper scissors it as people are saying about this state of the game right now. We're looking at stat check right now. They updated it the other day for since the release of Codex Imperial Agents, and as you can see, a lot of things have changed in this recent update. But what's consistent is that Sisters and Thousand Sons are still strong. I don't care what they have. I know it can be annoying. I already gave my feelings on the fact that, well, you know it's going to be annoying because they get to do things that other people don't, such as choosing what your dice looks like and having a psychic phase. I don't care. If somebody else can try to fix that. Not for me. I would rather see all the other things have semi-broken things too, if I'm being perfectly honest. So that's just my outlook on balance. If you want to put in the comments what you want to see hit from them, go for it. I might co-sign it, might not. That's just my take on things. So, talking about that intro enough, let's get into what I actually want to see. And we're going to start off with my favorite faction, the Tyranids. This is the ones that I know the most, and I just think it's about time. Let me have my gargoyles back. They did some things, okay? But 85 points for 10 gargoyles is a little bit much. No, 170 points for 20 battle line that only have one shot on ranged, one shot in melee. T3, one wound. I understand it got annoying that we were move blocking, but guess what? That was the only way we could win the game for quite some time until you buffed the rest of it. So, give us our gargoyles back, please. I just want them to come down in points. Apologies for my background. I live in the U.S. in a big city, and my window needs to be open right now. So that's just that window needs to be open right now, right? So that's where I want this to be. I would love the gargoyles to come down, maybe back down to their 75 points. I think that'd be fine. I could even I can live with 80, I think, but 85 points and 170 is a steep price just for battle line. And I know that this was another one of those like preemptive hits where they were like battle line matters in Pariah Nexus, and we quickly realized that was a fucking lie. We've quickly seen who gives a shit about battle lines still to this day. You don't get enough points for their value. They don't do enough interesting things for you to care. Now, I will say gargoyles do have deep strike, and if you have that mission rule that allows battle line to come in from reserves turn one, this could be annoying. But my counterpoint is they're 10 to 20 models, T3, one wound, do absolutely no damage, and who gives a shit, right? You're not going to be playing that mission rule that many times. That's going to be the utmost thing. Again, we're in a fine spot, so I can understand why you might just leave that out to dry. But please give me my Tyranids back. Well, my Gargoyles back. Then I want to talk about our dedicated transport. Our dedicated transport is a drop pod that is 105 points. Please let my dedicated transport come down in points like other people's dedicated transports. Also, if we can please have the Night Scythe rule on this, where it's just one infantry unit, I would appreciate that. Now, fair, if you give us one infantry unit, there is a chance that you can then put in the Neurotyrant Zoanthropes brick. And I was just thinking about how we're not even using that brick that much because it's kind of just okay. I admit I was one of the people that was a lot higher up on it, but that movement 6 is really painful. So if we can just have this say infantry, and honestly, if you want to add the exception that no monster can, it cannot also have the monster keyword in that unit or whatever, fine, I would understand. Um, but quite frankly, 105 points for a drop pod is not worth it. You haven't seen it like at all this entire edition. It just isn't worth it. It costs too much, and you don't get to put enough things in it to make it worth it because any infantry model with a wounds characteristic of more than one takes up the space of 3 models. What other infantry was I putting in there? Like, I'm not putting in Broodlord with Gene Stealers because they have Scout. I'm not putting in. I could, if you lower this and remove that dumbass caveat, I could then put in Tyranid Prime with some Tyranid Warriors. But I think that would actually really help Vanguard Onslaught. You go, but that's the one that's winning. Yes and no. Just because it's our winning detachment doesn't mean it's our best detachment, if we're being honest. I think once people have been cooking with Crusher Stampede, we saw that at Leech, a super major, it got second. So it's pretty close. Um, is that to say that's our best attachment? Probably not either. I just think that we're finally reaching a point where you have some viable things and making it so that a Tyrannocyte can have Wing Tyrannid Prime and 6 Tyrannid Warriors is not the most broken thing. They struggle with movement. You can shoot them off the table pretty easily because they have no invuln. And they have a. I'll just show you a 4-up save. Alright. 4-up save, 3 wounds, T5. You can just get this off the table if you really want. It's not the hardest thing. So please lower my Tyrannocyte. And just for the sake of showing another drop pod, we're going to go with Space Marines. And we're going to go. Where are you at? Drop pod. Other drop pod. There's a 70 points. Yeah, mind you, it's only 10 infantry models. It's 70 points. What am I putting in a Tyrannocyte? I get it. You said that we could put a monster that is 12 wounds or less, but the criteria for that are not very high. So just so I don't dwell on this forever though. Go back to this. Tyrannocyte, dedicated transport. Just 12 wounds or less. I can put in a Screamer Killer. I can put in a Carnifex. Old One Eye. And if I really want, sure I can put in the. Oh wait, that's right. They're 14. See, had to catch myself there. It's not like we can put in an Exocrine technically. Yeah, nothing really useful on that front. So yeah, that's my end on the Tyrannocyte. Then we go to the Toxic Crean. Please, please, please drop this thing in points. I understand from people that have played much longer than I that this has been bad for its entirety, right? Because it's too big. You get to draw a line of sight from it everywhere. You can't move it through to the terrain, through to through the terrain. Excuse me. And they've made some fixes for those things, to those rules. So now you can pretty much go through terrain if your base can fit, and yada yada yada. But it's still too many points. For 150 points, I get okay infantry clearing when I could bring a Haruspex for or similar chaff clearing, but also damage towards big things for 25 points less and the exact same toughness and wound profile. I think you can just let the Toxicrin come down. I priced it at like 115 in my notes. I was like, just bring it down. That way, it's you have to at least argue. Do I want a Toxicrin, a lot of chaff clearing for 115, or do I for 10 points more on a Haruspex? Or maybe make this 105 like the Psychophage at one point. Please help the Toxicrin. I would like to use it and not feel just awful about it. I would like this to be a model that can be brought out kind of consistently. Maybe not even consistently, just more than now. You bring it out now when you know you aren't going to win, right? So bring them down to points, maybe 105 even. It's not because I understand for the profile, you have to price for the profile of 11, 3 up save, 14 wounds. I understand you do have to price for that profile. Not everything can shoot T11, and we'll get to some things that I would like to be able to shoot T11 consistently. But let them have fun. So that's that on Toxicrin. Then we go into Screamer Killer. Another one that is just way too overcosted. I have two things that I would like to see for Screamer Killer, though. I would like a points drop. I want 125, just like the regular Carnifexes. And even them, I kind of want them to be lower, but I understand why it wouldn't probably happen. I would like them to be like 120, 115. That way it doesn't feel completely awful about taking them if they're not attached to Old One Eye or something. I want them fixed. But Screamer Killer, and talking about Old One Eye, I would like if you could attach Screamer Killer to Old One Eye. You have the same rule of being able to reroll hits with Old One Eye attached because that's his leader ability, and that would have come really good on this ranged weapon that's only 18 inches. Assault and blast though, but you want the battle shock test. I would also kind of like if the Screamer Killer could have a unit composition of 2 like the regular Carnifexes. I understand there's probably lore reasons and whatnot that prohibit that, but I couldn't really find the explanation for why Old One Eye can lead Carnifexes as it is. So if anybody can point me in that direction as to why those things are able to be led by Old One Eye and Screamer Killer can't have a larger unit composition than one or be led by Old One Eye, please let me know. But yeah, Screamer Killer, bump it up to 2. Literally, just make them Carnifexes. Same rule. Carnifexes. It's a Carnifex. Just give it the same thing. Yeah. Maybe even just add the keyword Carnifex and let Old One Eye lead Carnifex units. Maybe that's the solution. So, please, Screamer Killer, that's what I would like to see. Then, Norn Assimilator. A thing that I probably have on the thumbnail if I didn't fudge this up. You're probably expecting me to say, I want this to get the Harvester keyword so it can be Assimilator in Assimilation Swarm. That's not where I'm going with this though. They seem pretty adamant on not bringing his points down. I really don't know why. Even if you try to price for the profile, he's just not. I love the model, and I will argue that man, bring the points down, please. But if you really don't want to do that, if you really don't, give him the keyword. Da 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 da. Vanguard Invader. Why Vanguard Invader? You go, but Mister Monster. How could you possibly say that this should be a Vanguard Invader? There's lore reasons. They're like the first wave. There's no big. There are big monsters in Vanguard Invader. But how do you? Why would you say that a Norn is? The Norns are like heavy resource intensive, and they don't get shown at the first deployment. It's also for the sneaky. Wait, the Norns when they were introduced, the Norn Emissary on top of that, they had a whole assassination plot. They had to target Leontis and like other important officials. Huh. The Norns are kind of sneaky. Now, I can understand why you don't want to give the Norn Emissary Vanguard Invader, and we have no lore that I could find on the Norn Assimilator. But if the one that is supposed to target prey and hunt them down and put them in the ground like dogs doesn't sound Vanguard Invadery like Leaper, the Lictors, and then you have like the Harpy that is a Vanguard Invader because it seeds the planet with spores, and then the Hive Crone because it's the same kit, but also it's because it takes out aircraft. Like that's where it specializes in slathering and just killing shit from the sky. Then you have the giant snakes that they're snakes and they're sneaky beaky. Also, sometimes come down on what people thought were asteroids, and then turns out that you have a giant snake in your boot. I think the Norn Assimilator can get Vanguard Invader if we're going to keep the price of 290 points. At least make it worth it in more than one detachment outside of Synaptic Nexus, where on top of that, Synaptic Nexus, and this is the other thing why I think the Assimilator at 290 and getting Vanguard Invader is fine, because if you give the Norn Assimilator Vanguard Invader, the way that it gets durability is through stratagems. That means that you're either bringing a Hive Tyrant, which you probably are. Let's be real. Not going to act like we're not. For at least 210 points for the wing version. Um, to make it so that something else is survivable once per turn, which we've always done with Invasion Fleet and the 5-up Feel No Pain. Because this thing has no invuln. It's not that survivable. It's still only T11. I also don't understand why the Norns aren't T12, but hey, take what we can get. You have to spend the CP in Synaptic Nexus to reduce the AP by 1 so that this thing doesn't get blown off the table. And then in Vanguard Invader, it would be nice if it had Advance in Charge and, I'm not going to lie, loan up at 18 inches. Just so it could get to where it needs to be. It can't even fire its weapon. First off, it can't fire its weapon if you give it Vanguard Invader because we have Assault and Charge, not Assault and Shoot, which is something else that I'll talk about later for buffing other thing purposes. But we have Advance and Charge for Vanguard Invader units. If Norn Assimilator could get Vanguard Invader, so it could advance in charge and fall back in charge, it could be kind of scary. But then if you try to lone op it for that 18 inches, it cannot fire its weapon because it has a range of 12. It does not have assault, so unless again you're bringing a Hive Tyrant and keeping it next to him within 6 inches. So 235 points to make him survivable, and assault just to fire the weapon. I think that's justifiable if you're going to keep it at 290 points. That's just me. I want to bring this thing on the table more often and have more reasons for it. Please, if you're not going to drop the points or give him an invuln, give him the Vanguard Invader keyword. He is an assassiny boy. It has toxin. That's the whole spiel, whole theme we're going for in Vanguard Onslaught. So, please, 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 Norn Assimilator. That's what I want to see. People, I know that one's probably a hot take. In the comments, let me know how you feel about that one. Games Workshop, please, I'm begging you. Then we go on to I just wanted to bring this up here. It's not a character, so can't give enhancements. What's the worst harm? Now, mind you, +1 to hit, possibly +1 to wound against something. You already hit on 2s, but alright, fine. Taking him off the board might be the thing that might be what some might consider an issue. However, we thought that was going to be an issue with the Moloch and the Trigon, and it hasn't proven to be that case. It's actually been pretty easy to handle the T10 things that got it, so I think T11 will also be fine. But yeah, I think everything else is okay. Then we go over to orcs. Orcs. I want Bully Boys to see more play. Not that they need to be back to what they were when we had the Mega Knobs. I just think that a lot of these stratagems, instead of knobs or Mega Knobs unit, just make it one War Boss unit. Just make it one War Boss unit. So a lot of things can use the fucking keywords. And I've talked about enough though. Any datasheet that has a knob in it, give it the knob's keyword. If those are your two options, GW, please, I know you have the third option of doing absolutely nothing, but I'm begging you, please make it so that you have the ability to use the detachment for more than just two keywords. I don't understand what happened with the Orcs Codex where you like they have a bunch of data sheets, but what if we make a couple of detachments for one data sheet, two data sheets, and where are we at? Three data sheets. What if we just did two detachments out of the bunch that you have, right? We have five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry, 6 including index. Why don't we just make it so that two of them only apply to 3 units? Like, come on now, you can do better. So either make everything here that says knobs or mega knobs war boss, or give everything here that has a knob in it, like, of course, when I'm looking for it immediately, I'm just like, man, which one really has a knob in it? Like, okay, Squig Hog Boys definitely already have knob on Smash the Squig, right? Um, but yeah. Also, I've seen Flash Gits be a conversation for becoming knobs. Sure. Fuck it. Just more things need the knobs keyword if you're just going to make an attachment for it. So that's what I want to see out of Bully Boys. And we go over to the Big Hunt. And you'll see that we're going to be talking about the next tab twice over. The Big Hunt. I just rewrite the rule that instead of Warlord, give it. I've talked about this in another video. Give it the exact same thing as Shalaxi's Monarch of the Hunt. Each time a beast snagga unit declares a charge that targets a monster, vehicle, a character unit, you can reroll the charge each time this model makes a melee attack, or this unit makes a melee attack against that. You can reroll the hit and wound and the damage roll. Probably you can probably ease up on this one. Probably just hit and what is this one? Oh yeah, AP. Um, hit an AP by one maybe. Maybe you target one, kind of the oath of the moment situation that you seem to be going for on this one, so that the Big Hunt isn't just wiping out your opponent's entire army of monsters, vehicles, and character units on the wall. I could understand that one. But yeah, I don't know why one demon's model has a better rule than an entire detachment. You can let's just do that one. Let's do that one. You can get rid of the AP by 1 if you really want. I think you can keep it. Or give it all of that, and then if the unit is your prey, like keep this so that they get bonuses, like this bonus versus monsters and vehicles. Um, but if it's your prey, increase the AP by 1. It seems kind of weird that each turn your detachment just focuses on one, and your orcs, so your shooting isn't great, and you have to get that charge. Assuming like how many units realistically are you getting into one thing per turn as orcs, right? So yeah, I think everything else is fine if you do that. Besides the fact that you just need more data sheets in this one, and maybe you don't, but you'll quickly realize, man, I'm taking a lot of Squig Hog Boys for the Beast Boss on Squigosaur, like both of those. That's steep, right? The Squig Hog Boys are 160 for 4 models, right? And 8 is 320. It's a decent profile, but 320 points, you're taking probably at least 320 points, and then you have to add in the Beast Boss on Squigosaur, probably twice over, so that's another 260 points. That's steep just to run one detachment. So, and one detachment that's not that great. So, if we could please just do that, that'd be fine. And I just want to make sure that I still have her data sheet up again. We'll come back to what I want out of Shalaxi herself. Cult of Speed. Please make this vehicles from your army are eligible to shoot in a turn in which they advance to fail back. Pretty please. Pretty please. That way, you can have some firing deck shooting out of a battle wagon or a truck. Please. Pretty please. I've seen some people that wanted the entire army to have advance and shoot. I so basically they want sisters, which is funny that it's the better than Firestorm. Um, I I don't know if that's okay because we see that. I mean, it's still orc shooting. Don't get me wrong, it's still orc shooting. But I think if you just change this to vehicles, anything that you wanted that orc shooting to apply to is okay to still get it, and you don't have Flash gets advancing and shooting and then being heavy, right? Like that's I don't think that Flash gets are the worst offenders if that would happen, but I think if you just make this vehicles, you don't have to worry about things like Mazrog and Gasgul shooting on top of that. You just I think it'd be fine. Or a mech squad with looters. Like I think if you just make it vehicles from your army are eligible to shoot in the turn in which they advanced or fell back, you'll be doing just fine. Doing just fine. Outside of that, I like the stratagems, how they're coded and whatnot. Um, Maybe if you want to make it so that, well, you can't give them advance and charge always if you change the vehicles because then why do you have the WA? Um, huh. Uh, yeah, I guess that's fine. I just make those vehicles, please. I understand you want Coda Speed to just be like flavorful, and you've nailed it. But just make it vehicles instead of attaching the Speed Freaks keyword to it, because hey, as you know, not all Speed Freaks are from the Cult of Speed, or not all boys in the Cult of Speed are Speed Freaks. No, evil sons. Not all evil sons are speed freaks. No, sorry, not all speed freaks are evil sons. There we go. That's the one. There we go. I remember some things. Yeah. That's my take on Coulter Speed. I think it'd be perfectly fine after that, and then people would realize that the other detachments aren't that bad. That they need help, but that's the take on that. I already have Bully Boys popped up. I think I meant to make this one. Green Tide. So, Green Tide. I'm not saying to revert it, but I'm saying that things with the fucking boys in their name should be able to benefit from this. I think, especially Beast Snagger boys. Like again, I don't know why we keyworded this so heavily, this entire codex. But if you, I understand if you don't want to give everything boys, but instead of just like I was talking about with Coast of Speed, don't make this just boys. Make it battle line. That way, I have a reason that my Beast Nega boys are 105 points for 10. Right? Like, make it battle line. Make anything that you see the boys word here battle line. And we're doing just fine. I think that opens up a lot more doors, and people will be more happy to play Green Tide. You've already kind of doubly nerfed it, kind of triply. So I think I think that's a fair trade. At least open up the doors to more boys being on the table. And as you can see, the top tables aren't even bringing just 120 boys. They're realizing that you don't get enough out of the detachment to bring that many, so you dial it back to like 60 boys at most, and not even 6 squads of 10. That's like 3 squads of 20, and throw in other things that can do it. So if I don't like that two of the detachments pretty much make a lot of the points in your list irrelevant. They get absolutely nothing from it, and you can only put so much of what does get something from Bully Boys and Green Tide into the list. I understand that you can WA a second time with any War Boss unit and things like that, so like Death Killer War Trade can be tech in there. But why am I doing that when not one of the stratagems apply to them, you know? So I would like Green Tide, make some boys, some Beast Snaggle boys go in there. Or if you are feeling generous, some Squighawk boys, Storm boys, or Burner boys. Like, if it has boys, why doesn't it have boys everywhere? So that's the final take on Green Tide. And lastly, Killrig. People are seeing, or lastly for orcs, people are seeing the light that Killrig actually not that bad, arguably good. I want its punch reduced so more people have reason to take the kill rig. And by that, I would also want the hunter rig to come down in points as well. I want kill rig to come down to 150, and hunter rig can go down to 125. I They can only have Beast Snagger infantry. They can't even take the Squighawk boys in them. It can only be the Beast Boss on foot, the Pain Boss. Boss? Is it Pain Boss or Pain Boy? Pain Boss. Oh yeah, there we go. Um, and the War Boy, because he has his tower. The War Boy, and then Beast Snagger boys. That is 4 datasheets that can go inside of the rigs. Please take their points down so I can bring them and the rigs more often, not just because I really am feeling flavorful. So that's pretty much where I feel would make orcs feel better for everybody. Would that bring their win rate up? I doubt it. 42 is not good. Um, I should say I don't think it would bring their win rate up because I do. That's just me being facetious, but I think I think it wouldn't make them bust it. I think they would win more. I do still think that orc players are are part of the problem as to why orcs aren't winning. Because again, you can't tell me that you can only win when gas can go into a T12 vehicle and Snickrot is T6. Like, there's definitely more at play than that. But if you want to just give us the ability to put gas in a battle wagon with arcades, that'd be really funny. And you already know how that can actually go, so I think it'd be really funny if you're like, hey, we're gonna make an example out of a cheater. Gave up his win. We're gonna give him what he wanted or what he thought he was playing. I think that'd be really funny. Okay? So either you do that or the other things, but that's where I feel orcs could go. Then we go to one that I don't know much about. I do not know much about GSC, but as you can see with GSC, their one little change has brought people back to playing them, and they're doing better. Not going to say they're doing okay, because I'm pretty sure if I drop this down, this is only going to say Outlander Claw. Okay, it does, but not really. Out of the tiny amounts of people playing it, they're actually not bad. Poor Brew Brothers is actually nobody's playing it. Goodness. I wonder why. Guard are doing fine. Where's Guard? Yeah, Guard are doing fine. Is it literally because they get lethals now that Guard are doing okay? And they can only do okay with lethals? Interesting. But yeah, GSC, I don't know GSC. I should have probably hit up my friend before I decided to record this portion and be like, yo, GSC, I need a rundown. I'm recording, yada yada yada. Probably should have done that, but I'm not that smart apparently. Yeah. GSC players, you tell me what needs help from the codex itself. I know that the 40k VTuber Christian von Carmen is a GSC specialist that has tons of videos on how to make it work and what he would like to see. I'm pretty sure Nexus Floof has a video about what going over them, so I think he gives his opinion on how they could be better too there. I'm not sure. But yeah, there's definitely content to find from other people about how to make GSC better. So the only thing that I know that I want to see out of GSC is the benefit go down. This thing costs too much, and I can sympathize with an army having weak toughness models that only have last cannons to try to do damage to tanks, because until before they buffed the Tyran effects, so that our casino cannon was actually rolling better than ass, the Benefactus is literally Zoanthropes, and we weren't bringing Zoanthropes. We were hoping to hell that our lethal hits was going to take lethal hits from all the invasion fleet, by the way, was going to take us all the way. So Benefactus points come down. How much? I think you just say fuck it, make them 60 and see what happens. I don't. It could, because you're telling me that at the expense of taking a hazard test on a 3 wound model that is T3 with a 5 up invuln and a 6-inch move, to make myself have more than one shot, I have to overcharge and possibly take hazardous. And for each one, a model equipped with a hazardous weapon suffers 3 mortal wounds that must be allocated on the selected model. So if you overcharge to get a second shot one time and fail your hazardous roll, you lose your Benefactus. Are you fucking insane? That's stupid as hell. So please, first off, I guess that's my second change. Double the attacks for this shit. either make this like 2 attacks for regular and 4 for overcharge, but 1 to 2 at possibly just straight up losing my fucking model immediately? That's insane! For 80 points? I spent 80 points. Probably didn't kill what I wanted to because it's D6 plus 1, AP3, and I lost my model. That's so fucked. And then you look at what it can give lethal hits to on ranged weapons. I'm so sorry. They are losing their minds outside. If you can hear it on the recording, I apologize. But goodness, they are having a blast out there. It can go on Acolyte hybrids, hybrid metamorphs, and neophyte hybrids. Now, we're just going to look at their ranged weapons really quickly, and you tell me if any of this shit with lethal hits is going to be a problem. One-shot auto pistol. Flamer. So, guess what? Can't put lethal hits on a flamer, because it auto fucking hits. Then you have, again, hazardous. One-shot demo charges. Yeah. I had lethal hits on demo charges. Arguably a problem. Sure. But also, again, hazardous, and I could just lose my fucking models, right? Here we go back to the hybrid metamorphs with, again, pistol and flamer. One shot. Neophyte hybrids. That's a lot of options here you got here. But you tell me, which of these is the problem? If any of them. Can't put it again on Weber. Seismic cannon. Arguably, sure, 2 shots. Minus 1 EP, D3. The mining laser. That might be the one that you go, hey now, you're a rock star. Because you have heavy, so you could hit on 4s with 1 shot, strength 10, AP3, D6 plus 1. That might be your winner chicken dinner. However, only 2 neophyte hybrids can have a mining laser for every 10. So, at 140 points, you can have 4 mining lasers, possibly lethals, 10 minus 3d6 plus 1. A little bit better. Not that much better. You have the grenade launcher. Again, 2 can have it. Alright, for every 10. Slightly better, but you either go 1 shot or D3, which could still give you 1. And like, there's no AP on these. There's like no AP. That's not keeping you up at night. So, Benefactus bring his points down to 60 and double the fucking attacks, if not triple. Probably double. Double safer. I don't think he needs 3 and 6. But fuck it. If you're going to keep it 80, it needs to be 3 and 6. If it's not going to be 80 and you bring it down, make it 2 and 4. And that's just that. And you actually have once per battle at the start of your phase. This model has a 4-up invulnerable save. Make this unit. Once per battle, the unit that it's attached to, like the unit, can get a 4-up invulnerable save. Because I understand you probably want to give the option to not attach this thing into something and have something. But if you don't attach it to a unit, then you lose your lethal hits. So let's be real, GW. Let's give GSC something for their Benefactus. The newest model that looks awesome. Like, for a second, I was like, man, I should probably play some GSC. I already play Tyranids. Might as well go with the underlings, too, because look at that Benefactus model. But then I was like, damn, he's ass. And I did not do it. So, we'll see. Then, Shalaxi. Why do I feel that Shalaxi needs to change? This is a preemptive change that might not need to happen yet. Unless you really want to give yourself too much homework, I think it's time that you just drop her points to Scarbrand points. Maybe not Scarbrand points, which is what, 305? I think Shalaxi needs to come down for the following reason: that when Emperor's Children comes out, you will have absolutely no fucking way of taking Shalaxi because you need to take Battle Line. Demonettes are 110, if I remember correctly. Actually, we'll just double check right here, right now, to bring in a Greater Demon, and that would make you the only Chaos faction. They're 100, excuse me, not 110, 100. They're 100. They would make them the only Chaos faction that does not allow you to take in your corresponding greater epic hero, greater demon. So if you really want to be an ass, make Shalaxi 400. That way you can have literally just demonettes, Shalaxi, and go about that. But she's too expensive. I think Chaos players, Demon players might agree that she's too expensive on her own as she is now for T10, 4 up invuln, 20 wounds. Yes, she has a 5 up feel no pain. But until she literally touches something in melee, she's just okay. As somebody that plays with heavy Venom Cannon, this is just okay. Um, this is not even that great. So Shalaxi can be scary. Don't get me wrong. Uh, but she needs to go down in points for that inevitable Emperor's Children. Bring her down to. She has to be at least 400. Literally at least 400, or at most 400. Yeah, at most 400. That way you can bring Demonettes, especially if you don't want to take down the price of Demonettes, because you would either have to make Demonettes 50 or Shalaxi 400, and you tell me which one makes more sense. So that's my quick rant on Shalaxi. And then finally, I end off with Necrons. It's about fucking time, GW. I've seen what you can do. I appreciate that my snakes now have Vanguard Invader. I just went over my rant about you with orcs and keywords, but I think it's about fucking time that you give the Triarch. It's time. It's time. It's not the biggest change. I don't even think that's going to make people play this one the most. It has play, but you go. This is Overlord, Lichguard, or Triarch units. And let's review what that applies to. Overlord with Translocation Shroud. Lichguard, which, hey, you can attach the Stormlord, okay? Or the Triarchs, only being the 120 point Praetorians or the Triarch Stalker. There's not enough here to use this detachment, except you want to put in maybe a Tesseract Vault so that it takes less damage. Subtract 1 damage for ACP, right? Give the Triarch the keyword of the Triarch. And maybe rewrite this to nobles. Maybe, maybe that's what just needs to happen. Maybe if you don't want to give my boy the Silent King the Triarch keyword, even though he's literally the fucking Triarch and has Triarchal Maneers. Rewrite this to say each time a noble unit from your army makes an attack that targets that unit, add 1 to the wound roll. And rewrite all this shit to noble. I will give up. I would happily trade the Praetorians and the Stalker for noble units. And then it will be okay. You will see people take things beyond just Hypergrip Legion. Now, mind you, it still will be the best because secret missions and whatnot. Uppy Downy is really good. Canoptic Corp might still be the second best after that because of the stratagems. Reactive move, low and up at 18, death wounds for some models, like that's still pretty damn strong. So I don't think this would make us make obeisance phalanx the second best one, but at least make it the third best over index, right? Shit, it might even not be better than index. I think you could still keep it at fourth best, but not be second worst, right? Well, okay, technically that's still how that works, but you get the point. It can be better and still not be the best. And I think everybody can sleep at night and want to take more than just Hypercrypt Legion. So please, that's all I ask. And then special bonus, because somebody please, genuinely, this is not jokes or anything. Tell me what you feel needs to happen with Space Marines. I don't really it's lost onto me what the issue with Adeptus Astartes is. Because clearly every detachment of Space Marines that aren't labeled Space Marines, like Dark Angels, Blood Angels, um, Grey Knights, Space Wolves. Who else am I thinking about? Fuck. Is that everybody? Did I cover all of them? Yeah, I think so. Everyone that is literally a Space Marine, but a special Space Marine, that uses your Space Marine book rules, does well. Some point in time. I don't know what you need help with, and this genuinely tell me. I gotta admit, it was really funny when somebody. I think I've talked about this on video too, but recently, and just it was funny. They thought I was on their side. They got mad at me when they realized I was not. Um, Tell me what needs to happen with Space Marines, because the way I see it, literally, is just the color, right? Like, it's just the color and different looking armor, and then you're good. And if you don't want to play that one, then you're not good. But yet everybody can use Gladius, and Gladius keeps winning with everybody else, especially Dark Angels. Like, what needs to happen here? Because Space Wolves don't even take theirs Champions of Rush, right? They take oh goodness, it's the one for White Scars. Why can't I think of their name right now? I could literally just do this though. Thank you, Ironstorm Spearhead. I almost said like Iron Force something, but either way. Oh, now you all are taking Champions of Rush, and are you doing better? You tell me. But hey, somebody took GA. I said GA. Gladius Tax Force. Um, yeah, I don't really know. Somebody did try to, in that same flame, say that it's about like the character models, um, needing to be better. And to that extent, I do understand that the lion. I'm sorry, not the lion. Yep, heresy. He's a filthy heretic. Yep, I don't really, because I like the lion. But people like Calgar and Rabuti Gillyman. Where are you? There you go. Probably need to come down in points. Vulcan, do you need to come down in points? How much are you? You're 100? And Rabute. Oh, so somebody explain to me why there's a Vulcan and a Vulcan Hestan. I don't really get that one. Rabute Gilliman, 350 points for 9. What do you lead? Oh, you don't lead. You're literally just by yourself. This goes to show you how much I've looked at his data sheet. I could have sworn you led something that would make sense because hold on, the lion can lead something. No, where are we at with you, Lion L? You lead death, 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 death. Oh, you don't lead either. People just put you next to them. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Right, because you just put them next to. I could have sworn that that just made that you were a leader. Oh man. Um. So what needs to happen for this? Do your Primarchs need to be better? Because Jagatai's not here. Vulcan's not here. Who else y'all got? Who else is back? Nobody else is back, right? Uh, Goodness, do you have any more Primarchs that are back? Let's see. Is it just Gilliman a lion? I could have just did this now that I think about it. Yeah, okay, it's literally just those two. So clearly that's not going to fix you all. Do you all need your Primarchs to come back and then let them drop in points? Is that what's happening? Because Lion's doing fine. I don't think I'm seeing him in list, right? Like nobody brings the Lion. Is that true? I can again just double check. Sorry. We're doing this live because I didn't plan to talk about Space Marines because I don't really. As you can clearly see, my knowledge on them is severely lacking. But let's go. Dark Angels. Are you all taking the Lion? No. 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 Just going to do this last line just to see. And then, of course, let's probably look at Lenin's. Yeah. Okay, you're not even taking the line. So, do you get loan up? You do. Okay, so I'm understanding you all get the bodyguard for your faction. I'm guessing you all need a points drops heavy on these, but he's 300 and still not being taken. And if my Norn Assimilator has to be 290, fuck you, okay? So either we can all sing Kumbaya and let our cool thing come down to 250. I'll be okay with Lion being 250 and Gilliman being 250. That'd be cool to see him, right? I understand they're like, but like that should be a thing, right? Like if you can bring your big thing and form a plan with it. How much is Leontis? How much the fuck is Leontis? Astra Militarum. We're going off script. We're going off script, but let's see. Leontis. Lord Solar Leontis. Lord Solar is 125? And he's like the entire army. How much is fucking Magnus? Magnus. Magnus. 1,000 Suns. Goodness. Sorry, as you can see, I'm peeved. Okay, now I'm a little bit peeved off. Magnus is 440, and he's the entire 1,000 Suns army. Okay, so that makes sense. But as you can see, he's taken, and if you can make, that's the thing. If you could make these Primarchs their entire army, I'm not saying that'd be a great thing. All right, I don't think you should need to take Lion and Robooty for your thing to be okay. But that's great flavor. You have your fucking Primarch with you. Make them really good for the army and put up their points. I think that's cool. I think that's cool. Gaz is 235, right? Let's just make sure. And then Gaz, technically, he's the supreme leader of the Prophet of the Law. Yeah, Gaz is 235. And can lead Mega Knobs. Severely different toughness profile, though, but like. Hell, you don't even see Gaz. That's my. I think sorry, Space Marine players. I'll get back to like my what you all need. Actually, no, I take that back. I'm done with y'all. Y'all tell me what you need, because clearly I don't fucking know. But what I would like to see for 40k as a whole is that your supreme leaders make your army so much better. I understand that that a lot of people might not like that to the point, because then you go, well, I don't want to always have to take my supreme leader. I get that. I truly do get that. But I think you should have a substantial benefit from taking your supreme leader. We take the Swarm Lord, we get a Vect in 12 inches, and +1 CP, and an okay monster body. You don't see us taking the Swarm Lord that often. And as this is going to be another video, I don't think that I think we learned that Vect isn't as 12 inch. Well, sorry, not even Vect anymore. It's Lord of Deceit. 12-inch Lord of Deceit aura isn't that good anymore, or isn't as good as we thought it would be. So there's that. But I think some of these supreme leaders supreme commanders, excuse me, need to be a little bit better. I want to take them. I want to have a decent reason to take them. If you want to hike their points up to a bajillion to compensate, that makes sense. That way you're like, hey, now, if you're going to take Gaz and a shit ton of models, you can't take the normal shit ton of models for orcs to be. Like, there should be equivalent of value, right? And I'm sorry, Space Marine players, that we've diverged back to Xenos, but those are the ones that I know. All right. So that if you have gas, it feels the same as having 235 points worth of not gas, right? If you have Gilliman and the Lion, it feels like I have 350 points of Ultramarines and 300 points of DA, right? That's my take on it. Now, outside of that, for you all other detachments that where you don't have your Primarch back, I don't know. You tell me in the comments below what you feel Space Marines need. I know one thing that you all do need. I do have one. I take that back. I actually do know something. Where are you at? Where the fuck are you at? Firestorm Assault Force, you need to get whatever the fuck sisters have and Bringers of Flame. I don't give a shit. They did y'all dirty on that one. Give Firestorm Bringers of the Flames rules. Probably like verbatim, right? Anything that says Adeptus Sororitas here, make it Adeptus Astartes. I don't care. That's one thing that y'all got done dirty on. So that's at the end of that. That's all I got on what I would like to see in the upcoming meta. We'll collapse Space Force because I don't even play you and know anything about you. But yeah, let me know what 40k needs, because hey, I think a lot of it's okay, but I also see a lot of it that definitely could be better. So yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.